The alien planet of Vathar shone like a jewel in the black void of space. Its cities stretched high into the sky, metal towers reflecting the light of 3 suns. Advanced machines moved through the streets, and alien citizens hustled about, confident in the superiority of their civilization. In a secure, sprawling complex at the heart of the capital, the Empire's scientists and leaders gathered for a rare show of power: the capture of humans. A small group of humans, taken during a recent border raid, had been brought here. They were bound in energy restraints, their arms pinned against their sides. The alien scientists crowded around them, chattering excitedly in high-pitched, sharp voices. One human stood apart from the rest. He was silent, calm, and seemingly unafraid, his posture straight even as he was restrained. "Look at them," one young alien sneered, his multifaceted eyes glinting with amusement. "They call themselves intelligent, yet see how they tremble. How weak and primitive they are." The humans remained quiet. Most of them clenched their fists, faces flushed with anger. But this one human, tall, lean, with piercing eyes, did nothing. He simply stared back, calm and unyielding. Another alien scientist laughed, a harsh, grating sound. Do they not feel fear? Or is it ignorance? Perhaps they do not understand the power we hold over them. The young human's calm gaze did not waver. It unnerved a few of the younger aliens, who shuffled nervously in their spots. Something about him felt different. The chief scientist raised his claws and motioned to the display platform. A massive array of machinery hummed to life, casting bright lights across the human prisoners. Energy fields sparked faintly, and mechanical arms adjusted weapons, all calibrated to intimidate. "Let us show them the extent of our power," the chief scientist said. "Perhaps then they will learn the true meaning of fear." The aliens began activating the machines. Energy beams crackled in controlled bursts, filling the chamber with an eerie glow. Automated weapons hummed, rotating and aiming toward the humans, while large drones hovered above, scanning the prisoners. The other humans flinched at the noise, but the tall, calm human did not move a muscle. "Why does he not react?" whispered one of the younger aliens to her neighbor. "It is unsettling. All humans are supposed to fear us." The neighbor shrugged. "Perhaps it is arrogance. Or stupidity. Either way, he will break soon enough." The humans were herded to the center of the display platform. The energy fields intensified, forming a shimmering cage around them. Sparks jumped from the machinery, and a low hum filled the chamber. Aliens pressed buttons, observing the humans' reactions closely. Yet the calm human remained still. His eyes swept across the machines, observing quietly, taking in every detail. His lips did not move. His body did not tense. And as he stood there, a subtle tremor seemed to emanate from him, a vibration that even some of the aliens could feel but could not explain. One alien technician paused, frowning. "Do you feel that?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. "There is something in him, a force. I cannot identify it." The chief scientist glanced at him sharply. "Do not be ridiculous. It is nothing. Humans are weak. This one is no exception. Proceed." The machines intensified. Energy fields flared brighter. Automated arms whirred closer. Drones hovered menacingly. The chamber seemed to shake slightly as the systems reached full power. Yet the calm human did not flinch. Instead, his steady presence seemed to push back subtly against the machinery. Sparks flickered from the machines, as if hesitating, and a low hum vibrated through the floor, an echo of the human's unyielding calm. The other humans whispered and gasped, glancing at him. They drew courage from his silence, though they did not yet understand why. The young aliens watched in confusion. Their confidence, once absolute, wavered for the first time. "Control the machines," the chief scientist barked. "Do not let one human's defiance unsettle you." Technicians adjusted settings, but each tweak only seemed to amplify the strange effect around the calm human. The energy fields flickered irregularly. A few drones lost power for brief seconds. Even the strongest weapons misfired slightly, harmlessly, yet enough to make some aliens step back. The The human's calm stare swept across the amphitheater. He did not shout. He did not plead. He simply remained unafraid. And in that moment, the young aliens understood. There was more to this species than they had ever imagined. A whisper ran through the chamber. He is different. Something about him. It feels like he is controlling us somehow. The chief scientist ignored it, though unease crept up his spine. He motioned to increase the display's intensity, hoping to finally break the human's will. But as the machines roared louder and energy fields glowed brighter, the subtle tremor from the human's body grew stronger, spreading faintly through the chamber. Aliens felt a strange pressure, a pull, a hint that their technology was not entirely under their control. The calm human's gaze met the chief scientist's. It was not a challenge. It was not fear. It was an awareness, a quiet power that unsettled the alien leader more than any weapon ever could. And in that instant, the first seeds of doubt were planted. A few young aliens stepped back, unsure of what they were witnessing. For the first time, the Empire's confidence faltered, not because of weapons, but because of a human who refused to be afraid. The energy displays hummed and flickered. The calm human remained poised, silent, and unbroken. The aliens were beginning to understand, though slowly and with great fear, that humans were not as weak as they had believed. A subtle tremor, almost imperceptible, continued to ripple through the chamber. It was a hint of the power humans could wield when pushed to their limits. The Empire had thought this display would humiliate, but instead, it had revealed a mystery they could not yet grasp, a potential force far beyond their understanding. And as the young aliens whispered nervously among themselves, the chief scientist realized that the human's calmness might not just defy fear. It might one day defy the Empire itself. The chamber on Vathar hummed with quiet uncertainty. The young aliens who had been assigned to observe the humans whispered among themselves, glancing nervously at the tall, calm human. Even the veteran soldiers began to feel an unfamiliar unease, their usual confidence shaken by the subtle tremor that seemed to radiate from him. The chief scientist strode forward, his claws clicking on the polished floor. Increase the intensity of the energy fields, he ordered. Show these humans the consequences of defiance. Technicians moved quickly, adjusting controls and amplifying power. The energy beams flared brighter, their crackling filling the chamber. Mechanical arms whirred closer to the human prisoners, and drones hovered overhead, scanning every movement. The other humans flinched, but the calm one remained motionless, his eyes scanning the machines, reading every detail as if he could anticipate their next move. One young alien stepped closer, his voice trembling. "Sir, he is different. Every time we increase the energy, it does not affect him the way it should. It feels wrong." The chief scientist waved him off. "Nonsense. Humans are weak. This one will break. We have the power of technology, the might of our empire, and the experience of centuries. Fear will work in time." Yet even as he spoke, a few machines sparked unpredictably. One drone stuttered midair, its sensors flickering. A mechanical arm jerked slightly, misaligning from its target. The young alien whispered again, "I told you it is him. Something in him interacts with our machines. We cannot explain it." The chief scientist's multifaceted eyes narrowed. "Increase power again. Do not let superstition cloud your judgment." The technicians obeyed, though their hands shook. The energy fields grew even brighter, more intense. Sparks danced along the floor, and the hum of machinery reached a deafening pitch. The calm human did not flinch. His presence, steady and unwavering, seemed to push back against the energy, subtle but unmistakable. Another whisper ran through the observing aliens. "He is controlling them. Somehow, we cannot touch him. His calm, it changes the machines." One of the older humans, sitting bound beside him, whispered a shaky thank you. How are you so calm?" The tall human did not answer. He simply observed, his eyes moving from drone to drone, from energy field to energy field. Even in silence, he seemed to communicate something to his fellow humans, an unspoken signal of patience, caution, and quiet power. The chief scientist's face twisted with frustration. "Do not underestimate the human," he barked. "They are weak, and we hold all the power. Make them fear." But fear was not in the tall human's eyes. Instead, his gaze projected a quiet confidence that unsettled even the most disciplined alien soldiers. The subtle tremor he emitted grew slightly stronger, affecting nearby systems. The humming energy fields wavered, drones jittered mid-flight, and some mechanical arms slowed. One technician exclaimed in alarm, "Sir, the systems, they are responding to him. Not our commands. Something is wrong." The chief scientist slammed his claws onto the console. "Impossible. Increase energy. Force them to break." But the more they tried, the stronger the subtle effects became. Even the drones seemed to hesitate, as if unsure of their purpose. Young aliens stepped back nervously, unable to comprehend what they were witnessing. The calm human had not touched a single machine, yet the Empire's technological superiority wavered around him. Outside the chamber, the alien leaders convened urgently. Holoscreens showed sparks across the laboratory. Reports of system anomalies began coming in from distant facilities. Even the smallest outposts noticed strange malfunctions. One commander whispered, "The humans, they're affecting our systems. All of them." "How?" Back in the chamber, the calm human raised his head slightly, observing the chief scientist. There was no aggression in his gaze, no threat, just calm awareness. And yet, the subtle tremor from his body continued to ripple outward, touching machines, sensors, and even the nerves of the aliens present. A young alien technician gasped, "Sir, he is doing it on purpose. I think he is controlling them." The chief scientist's claws tightened. Control them? Impossible. Humans cannot do that. But the evidence was mounting. Systems continued to glitch under the calm human's presence. The young aliens whispered nervously. The other humans, sensing the shift, began to regain courage. The calm human's stillness was contagious. His unshakable confidence spread to his companions, strengthening their resolve. "Prepare the containment field," the chief scientist snapped. "This human will not survive if we do not restrain him fully." Soldiers moved cautiously to surround the tall human, energy restraints ready. But each step seemed to falter. Drones stumbled mid-flight. Weapon targeting systems misfired. The calm human's subtle power, his anger held in check, his patience unbroken, was spreading like a quiet storm through the technology of the Empire. The chief scientist's voice trembled with frustration and fear. "Increase every system. Do not let one human defy us." Yet the calm human's presence continued to resist, unbroken. Machines sparked and flickered unpredictably. Drones paused in midair. Energy fields quivered. Even the youngest aliens realized that the Empire had underestimated the humans. Not their strength, not their weapons, but their unyielding spirit. And as the chamber filled with flickering lights, humming energy, and whispers of confusion, one thought settled in the minds of the observing aliens. This human was not weak. This human was a force they could not yet understand. And their arrogance might be the Empire's undoing. The calm human remained standing, silent, as the alien scientists and soldiers scrambled around him. The machines flickered and sputtered, but no one knew why. Outside the capital, hidden human colonies picked up faint, strange signals, ripples in communication and energy that originated from the alien planet itself. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but to humans trained for observation, it was unmistakable. In a hidden outpost on a nearby asteroid, a young human officer tapped the console. "Commander," he said, "I'm picking up unusual energy waves for Vathar. They're coordinated, almost like they're guiding us." The commander's eyes widened. "Are you saying the captured humans are doing this? From within their prison?" The officer nodded. "I think so. One human in particular. The energy is different. We've never seen anything like it." Back on Vathar, the calm human shifted slightly, raising his head. He did not speak, but his presence alone seemed to ripple through the chamber, affecting machines, drones, and energy fields. The young aliens whispered nervously among themselves. "He is doing something," one said. "I cannot explain it. Our technology, it responds to him." The chief scientist bellowed. "Stop imagining things. Focus on the controls." But imagination was not the problem. Sensors misread, targeting systems glitched, and even automated drones hesitated. The calm human's subtle influence was spreading farther than anyone realized. In the Empire's distant colonies, alien administrators noticed unexpected failures in their fleets. Small patrols went off course. Communication systems scrambled. Ships lost contact with command. Panic began to spread, quietly at first, as leaders tried to understand the anomalies. Back in the chamber, the chief scientist increased the energy fields to full power. Sparks leaped across the floor, and the hum of machinery reached an ear-splitting pitch. Yet the calm human did not move, did not falter. His eyes swept across the room, calm and unafraid, and the subtle tremors from his body intensified slightly. Machines sputtered, drones shook, and even some of the strongest energy fields wavered. "You see it now," whispered one young alien. "He is not just defying us. He is affecting everything." The chief scientist roared in frustration. "Contain him. Bind him more tightly." Soldiers moved forward with enhanced restraints, but each step they took seemed to falter. Their targeting systems misfired. Energy barriers misaligned. Even the most disciplined units hesitated, uncertain. The calm human remained still, a beacon of unyielding focus. At the same time, humans across the galaxy quietly began moving. Fleets that had been hidden in asteroid belts, cloaked ships, and underground stations activated their engines. Communications between humans were faint, almost imperceptible to alien scanners, yet perfectly coordinated. The subtle energy signals from the calm human had reached them, guiding their actions. In one fleet, a commander whispered, "All units, prepare to strike. Wait for the signal. Move only when the ripple guides you." Another officer asked, "Are we sure this will work?" "It's coming from one human." The commander smiled grimly. "One human who does not fear. That is enough." Back in the amphitheater, alien soldiers and scientists noticed more anomalies. Energy beams flickered unpredictably. Drones lost calibration. Machines sparking and whirring suddenly paused, as if confused. The calm human's influence was spreading farther than anyone could measure. Even the young aliens who had first noticed it were now certain. Something extraordinary was happening. "Sir," one whispered to the chief scientist, "we cannot control it. The human, it's spreading through our systems. Our fleets, our defenses, they will fail." The chief scientist's eyes widened in horror. "Impossible. Humans are weak. One human cannot." But the signs were clear. Signals from Vathar were being intercepted by human outposts, guiding their hidden fleets. The calm human, though silent and restrained, had become the center of a network no alien could detect. Every fleet move, every ambush, every subtle strike humans would soon make was being prepared, quietly, without alarm. The chief scientist banged his claws on the console. "Contain him now, or all is lost." Soldiers approached, weapons ready. But the calm human's subtle energy pushed against them. Drones wavered, energy beams misfired, and mechanical arms faltered. Even the alien leader felt a strange pressure, as if the human's calmness was a force that could not be resisted. In that moment, a young alien whispered fearfully to his neighbor, "We laughed at human rage, but perhaps we underestimated it. And it is not just rage, it is intelligence, patience, and something more, something dangerous." The calm human said nothing. He did not shout or move. Yet every alien in the room could feel the quiet storm building around him. Outside, hidden human fleets moved into position, guided by his subtle signals. The stage was set. The first human strikes would come soon, precise and unstoppable, and the Empire's arrogance was about to meet its first real challenge. Even the chief scientist, furious and panicked, could sense the truth: the humans were not weak. One human, calm, silent, unafraid, had begun to turn the tide of the galaxy, and the Empire did not yet understand what was coming. The calm human stood silently on the amphitheater platform, his energy subtly rippling through the machines, through the drones, and even through the air itself. Outside, hidden human fleets began to move. Cloaked ships glided through asteroid belts and debris fields, their engines whispering through the vacuum of space. Signals transmitted from the calm human guided each move, imperceptible to alien sensors but clear to the humans who had prepared for this moment. In one hidden outpost, a young human officer watched his console intently. "All units, prepare to strike," he said. "Wait for the signal." The calm human shifted his gaze slightly, and the ripples spread farther. In response, distant human ships adjusted their positions, moving silently into attack formations around key alien supply routes. Even minor alien patrols were bypassed, as if the calm human's influence had already anticipated their paths. On Vathar, the alien scientists were unaware of what was occurring. Their attention remained fixed on the humans in the amphitheater, attempting to control the machines and restrain the prisoners. But each adjustment they made caused more glitches. Drones hesitated, energy fields flickered, and some machinery sputtered before restarting. "Something is affecting the systems," a young alien whispered to his neighbor. "The human, it's spreading farther than the chamber." The chief scientist snapped. "Nonsense. Humans are weak. Control the systems." Yet the subtle tremor from the calm human intensified, reaching beyond the amphitheater. Small misfires began to occur in alien fleets near the capital. Patrol ships miscalculated their trajectories. Sensors malfunctioned. Communication hubs jittered. Alien commanders muttered in confusion, trying to regain control, but the disturbances spread faster than their response. The calm human's presence was not loud, not aggressive. It was quiet control, precise. His calmness itself became a force, shaping events without a single shout or gesture. Even the other humans in restraints noticed it. They felt courage rising in their hearts, a steady strength that refused to bow to fear or humiliation. In a distant sector, a human fleet moved into position around a vital alien fuel depot. "We wait for the ripple," the commander whispered. "We strike only when guided." Back on Vathar, the chief scientist activated a monitoring array. "Check every system: drones, energy fields, machines." A technician reported nervously, "Sir, the systems are malfunctioning." They respond to him. It's subtle, but unmistakable. "Every adjustment we make seems to strengthen him." The chief scientist growled. "Contain him. Bind him tighter." Soldiers approached the calm human, but even as they tightened his restraints, the ripple of energy grew stronger. Drones hovered uncertainly, mechanical arms misaligned, and the chamber seemed to vibrate faintly under an unseen pressure. The calm human did not resist. He did not struggle. He simply stood, unflinching, observing the alien movements with quiet patience. The aliens began to notice something else. The prisoners around him were no longer scared. Their fear had faded, replaced with confidence that seemed to radiate from the calm human. Even the youngest aliens whispered among themselves, "Uneasy. He is giving them strength." His calm, it spreads. Outside, human forces coordinated their first strike. Cloaked ships approached the alien fuel depot. Using guidance provided by the ripple from the calm human, they bypassed patrols and defenses, arriving with perfect precision. Explosions erupted, silencing communications and crippling supply lines. Aliens were caught off guard. Their confidence faltered. Back in the amphitheater, the chief scientist noticed the unexpected interruptions in distant systems. "Impossible," he shouted. "The humans cannot coordinate across this distance." A young alien technician stammered, "Sir, the calm human, he is influencing them. I don't understand it, but he is guiding their movements." The chief scientist's claws trembled with frustration. "Contain him immediately, or all is lost." But it was already too late. The calm human's influence had reached far beyond the amphitheater. Alien patrols misfired, fleets faltered, and communication networks glitched. The human strike had been successful, precise, and devastating, all guided by the silent power of the one who refused to fear. The calm human's eyes swept across the amphitheater once more. He did not smile. He did not gloat. He simply observed, steady and composed, as the ripple of his calm spread further. Every alien present could feel the shift, the realization that humans were not weak, that their patience, intelligence, and controlled power could shape events across vast distances. The other humans in restraints now whispered, encouraged by his presence. "We can fight," one said quietly. "We can survive." The young aliens watching the scene grew uneasy. Some began to step back, unsure if they had witnessed something supernatural. Others whispered fears that the Empire had underestimated a species they had long believed to be weak. The chief scientist, furious and panicked, slammed his claws on the console. "Do not let one human dictate our systems. Increase all power. Bind him tighter." Yet the calm human remained unmoved. His subtle energy continued to ripple, guiding human fleets and weakening alien responses without a single word. The first strike had succeeded, but it was only the beginning. Outside the amphitheater, human ships silently moved to their next positions, guided by the invisible force from the calm human. Alien forces scrambled, trying to counter the precision of these attacks, but every response seemed anticipated. The calm human's quiet defiance had turned into a coordinated strategy, a silent rebellion that the Empire could not yet understand. And as explosions shook alien supply depots across the sector, whispers filled the amphitheater. We laughed at human rage, but it is calm, precise, and unstoppable. The calm human did not move, did not speak. Yet the Empire began to feel, for the first time, that it had underestimated the humans. And that realization would cost them dearly. The calm human still stood in the amphitheater, his posture unwavering, his eyes calm and focused. Every flicker of energy, every hum of machinery, seemed to bend slightly around him, responding to a force no alien could understand. Outside the capital, human fleets moved like shadows, striking with deadly precision at key points across the galaxy. In the outer colonies, alien governors reported sudden malfunctions. Patrol fleets lost coordination. Supply lines faltered. Communication networks crashed intermittently. Confusion spread faster than the human fleets themselves. One alien commander shouted into a communicator, "All units, hold formation. Maintain order. Do not let them disrupt our systems." But the calm humans' subtle energy waves were already at work. Drones stuttered mid-flight. Energy weapons misfired. Defense grids flickered and faltered. Even alien officers closest to him felt an unsettling pressure, a quiet force that could not be resisted. In a hidden human fleet, the commander observed the results of their first coordinated strikes. "Excellent," he said quietly. "The ripple is guiding them perfectly. Every system the aliens rely on is weakening. Prepare for the next wave." Meanwhile, on Vathar, panic began to ripple through the alien hierarchy. Young soldiers whispered nervously, unsure how to explain the constant malfunctions. The chief scientist banged his claws on the console. "Contain him. Bind him tighter. Do not let him." But the calm human did not resist physically. His silent focus was enough. Each adjustment to restrain him only amplified the subtle influence he radiated. Machines sparkled unpredictably, drones hesitated, and some energy fields collapsed briefly before reigniting. One of the young aliens whispered to another, voice shaking, "He is not just resisting, he is controlling them. Every machine, every system, it obeys him somehow." The other alien shook his head. "Impossible. Humans are weak. We are strong. They cannot." Yet they could not deny the evidence. The calm human's influence spread across Vathar's systems and beyond, affecting the fleets, patrols, and supply lines of the Empire. Outside the amphitheater, human ships struck key strategic points. Fuel depots, communication hubs, and weapon silos were disabled or destroyed. Alien patrols tried to respond, but the calm human's subtle energy ensured that every human attack was perfectly timed, bypassing defenses and avoiding detection. Back in the amphitheater, whispers of fear spread. "We laughed at human rage," one young alien muttered, "but it is calm, precise, unstoppable." The chief scientist's claws trembled as he barked orders. "Do not let one human dictate events. Increase all energy fields. Bind him tighter." But every action they took only amplified the calm human's subtle influence. Machines sparked, drones stuttered, and targeting systems misfired. Even the veteran aliens closest to him began to step back, unease etched into their expressions. On distant colonies, rebellion quietly began. Alien populations, long frustrated under imperial rule, began to act in small ways, sabotaging systems, refusing orders, and delaying supply shipments. The calm human's subtle ripple had inspired more than humans. It had created doubt and hesitation among aliens themselves. The calm human's eyes swept across the amphitheater, calm and unafraid. He did not speak. He did not shout. He simply observed, and the quiet strength of his presence spread outward, affecting machines, drones, and even the nerves of the aliens. Explosions rocked distant alien supply stations. Communication networks crashed, leaving fleets disoriented. Panic spread like wildfire. Alien officers barked orders, but commands failed to reach their intended targets. Systems that had worked perfectly for centuries now faltered under an influence they could not understand. One young alien, watching in terror, whispered, "It is him. It is all coming from him." The calm, it guides them, strengthens them. How can this be? The chief scientist roared in frustration. "Contain him. Increase power. Do not let one human." But it was too late. The Empire was beginning to collapse under the subtle, relentless influence of the calm human. Fleets misfired, colonies faltered, and supply lines broke down. The human strike had become a symphony of precise attacks, perfectly coordinated, unstoppable. Even the other humans in restraints felt empowered. They no longer trembled. Courage flowed through them, drawn from the calm human who had refused to fear. They whispered plans quietly, their minds aligned, ready to act when the time came. The young aliens exchanged nervous glances. "We underestimated them," one said. "They're not weak." One human. "And now the ripple, it is unstoppable." The chief scientist slammed his claws on the console in frustration, his face pale with fear. "Do not let them." But the calm human did not flinch. He did not struggle. The ripple from his calm continued outward, guiding human fleets, inspiring his fellow humans, and weakening the Empire from within. Every attempt to resist him only strengthened his influence. The galaxy watched in silence as the first strikes began to unfold. Fires erupted on alien fuel depots, communication hubs went offline, and entire patrols were left confused and immobilized. The Empire's arrogance was cracking, and the calm human had become the center of it all, a quiet force that no alien technology, no army, no empire could resist. And in that moment, one thought passed through the minds of every alien watching. They had laughed at human rage, but it was calm, precise, and far more powerful than they could ever imagine. The Empire's downfall had begun. The calm human still stood in the amphitheater, silent, unyielding, his gaze calm and focused. Around him, machines flickered and sputtered, drones hovered uncertainly, and energy fields pulsed irregularly. Outside, human fleets moved with deadly precision, guided by the subtle ripple of his presence. The Empire's defenses were failing, and the aliens had no idea why. The chief scientist slammed his claws on the console. "Contain him. Do not let one human destroy everything." But containment was impossible. Every attempt to tighten the restraints or increase energy output only amplified the subtle power radiating from the human. Sparks flew from machinery, drones stuttered, and energy fields collapsed in weak arcs. Even the strongest alien officers stepped back, uneasy in the presence of this single, unafraid human. Across the galaxy, alien fleets faltered. Ships lost control mid-flight, supply convoys failed, and communication lines scrambled into static. The calm humans' influence had spread farther than anyone could comprehend, coordinating the human fleets like a silent conductor of an invisible symphony. Hidden human commanders watched from distant stations. "All units, execute the final strike," one whispered. "Follow the ripple. Timing is perfect." In response, human ships simultaneously targeted key alien command centers, energy hubs, and military installations. Explosions rocked the Empire. Control centers were disabled. Weapon systems malfunctioned. Alien leaders scrambled in panic, but their orders were too late, too disorganized. Chaos spread like wildfire. Back on Vathar, the chief scientist's face was pale. "Impossible. How can one human cause this?" A young alien technician whispered fearfully, "It is not just one human. It is the calm, the energy it guides them all. We underestimated humans." Too late. The calm human did not move, did not speak. He simply observed, his presence steady and unshakable. And yet, through that quietness, the ripple of his influence orchestrated the final collapse of the Empire. Machines failed. Energy fields failed. Weapons misfired. Drones crashed into each other. Panic swept through the alien population. In distant colonies, humans moved swiftly, striking at the last remaining pockets of alien control. Coordination was perfect, timing flawless. Every strike had been guided by the subtle, invisible power emanating from the calm human. Every human unit followed his unspoken direction. The chief scientist banged his claws in desperation. "This cannot happen. Contain him. Stop him." But containment was no longer relevant. The Empire was crumbling. Alien fleets lost communication, cities went dark, and military installations exploded one by one. Even the young aliens who had watched the calm human from the beginning realized it was over. A whisper ran through the remaining officers. "We laughed at human rage, but it is calm, precise, unstoppable." The other humans in restraints felt a surge of courage. No longer prisoners, they were part of the victory. They did not need to shout or fight openly. The calm humans' silent strength gave them the power to act and survive. Every movement was guided. Every strike was coordinated. Every alien response was anticipated. Outside the amphitheater, human fleets pushed into the heart of the Empire. Key leaders attempted to flee, but ships lost control mid-flight. Commands failed. Energy grids collapsed. Panic spread across the galaxy. The empire that had once ruled countless star systems was being dismantled, silently and efficiently, by the humans they had underestimated. The calm human's gaze did not waver. He did not celebrate, did not shout. And yet, the subtle tremor from his body, the quiet, unshakable energy, had orchestrated the Empire's destruction. Machines bent, drones faltered, fleets were disabled, and alien leaders fell into chaos. In the capital, the last bastions of alien power struggled to maintain order. The chief scientist, standing before his console, realized the truth too late. It is him. One human, calm, unafraid, he has undone everything. Outside, human ships completed the final strikes. Alien communication networks were in shambles. Key military installations were destroyed. Planets that had once been under strict control of the Empire were now free. The ripple of the calm, human's presence had guided them all, invisible but unstoppable. The calm human finally lowered his head slightly, a silent acknowledgement of the victory. No cheers, no shouts, only quiet strength and focus. Around him, humans rose in determination, knowing their enemy had fallen, guided not by rage, but by controlled, unshakable calm. The Empire had been undone, not by overwhelming force, but by patience, intelligence, and the quiet power of one human who refused to fear. Billions across the galaxy witnessed the fall of a mighty empire, and the story of the calm human spread quickly among human and alien populations alike. In the ruins of the alien capital, drones and machines lay scattered, smoke rising from destroyed energy grids. Alien soldiers, once confident, now trembled in disbelief. They had underestimated humanity. They had laughed at their calm, and they had lost everything because of it. And so, the galaxy changed forever. One human, calm and unafraid, had shown the true power of a species. Not rage, not force, but quiet strength, intelligence, and precision. The empire that had ruled for centuries had fallen in the shadow of his presence. The calm human remained silent, the ripple of his presence slowly fading as order returned to the humans. But the memory of that quiet, unyielding strength would remain in every corner of the galaxy. The empire had fallen, and humanity had risen, not through anger, but through calm, unwavering resolve.